While the Grey Company journeyed south to the aid of Aragorn, we came upon a Dunlanding hag named Gwillian, called the Old Woman of the Mountain. She sought to raise an army of ancient evil to aid the White Hand against Rohan. It was our duty, Amlon's and mine, to keep her at bay.
Welcome back everyone to Skirmisher of Middle-earth, and we'll be doing Storm on Methedras with my hunter. In the Windfells of Enedwaith, we first encountered the hag Gwillian. There she was using her evil powers to summon fell spirits in the form of Drugvar, Cuthril, and Cúdanún to build an army of ancient evil to the aid of Saruman. Then, in the Gravenwood below, we hindered her efforts to create a host of wights. Long have we hounded this old woman of the mountain, and now we have her cornered. It is our duty to remain here and try to hinder her efforts. If she should succeed, all manner of foul demons shall come to the aid of Saruman against Rohan. The Boar clan of Dunland understands that this is not to the benefit of the peoples, and have sent mystics to try to counter the old woman's spells should she try to turn them against us. Pinetrap, go forward and claim the gate of the outer courtyard of her abode. Amlon and I will stay here with the Boar clan mystics until the point is secure. Go now, and may the Valar protect you. Yes. So this is the third part of a trilogy of your encounters with Gwillian. The only problem is, of course, is you open up this skirmish at level 20, and you first meet Gwillian somewhere around level 65. Alright, you could meet her a little bit earlier, as early as around level 60 or whatever, but I tend to go through Mirkwood. Mirkwood usually gets me to 65, so I usually get to Enedwaith when I'm level 65, but you're at least level 60 probably when you're first facing Gwillian for the first part of this trilogy. The second part of the trilogy is around level 70, so you go to level 60, then level 70. And this skirmish was originally, I believe, level 70 or level 75 when they were on the planning stage. By the time it hit Bull Roar on the beta server, it was level 20, even though they were advertising it as a level 70 skirmish. So they decided that you get more sales if it was a low level skirmish, if you could do it at low levels, even though thematically it doesn't work all that well. But I'm level 95, so I've done this already, and that's enough talking. So let's go out there and take care of these ancient evil. And I'm a hunter, so I might as well put up a couple of traps. At least I'm a yellow line hunter, so that really means putting up a couple of traps. And of course, traps don't do too much against Cuthril since they have, well, actually, or does this thing have ranged abilities? Well, someone must have attacked me because I had that extra free trap put up there. Now, Storm on Methedras is set in Dunland, so it's quite a bit far. Methedras is the southernmost mountain in the Misties. Now you have, assuming that you watched other parts of the series, you would have seen me do this with the warden already. Alright, let's see. Let's get a little bit more on this. Now, this particular skirmish has a rather unusual style of handling the encounters, as we'll see in a moment. And oh, alright, there you go. Target dummy for the win. Yeah, that works. Oh, whatever that was, that tripwire didn't work very well. Oh. Alright, there we go. Oh, that's right, I have an herbalist here. So used to having an archer, but of course, the hunter's an archer, so I didn't see much need of having a second archer in the group. I know my captain runs double archers, so such I don't always think that 2 archers is superfluous. Alright. Now, the 2 rangers come forward for the counterattacks. Oh. Okay. Now, normally you do not get... Oh. You do not get lieutenants in counterattacks in this skirmish, which means if you see a lieutenant, means you drew someone from the next area ahead, as I must have done here, and therefore it's important to get rid of the supernumeraries first, since if you're fighting someone from the previous area last, then you'll still be fighting them when the next wave comes, since the wave of the counterattack are based on whoever's in the counterattack. And if you have enemies who aren't really part of the counterattack, well, they don't count for that matter, from the point of view of deciding when the next wave comes in. Now I want to get whoever's in the back. This is to make sure that the ranger doesn't go into the back to... Because if he does, he's likely to draw extra company, and I'm trying to avoid drawing extra company as much as possible. Maybe I better get out of this aura of dread. I really don't like this aura of dread. Now, alright, here comes the last of the counterattacks. But any moment now, we will get our encounter, which is the encounters are based on the counterattacks, and they always happen. And in fact, looks like Ludent we've got is our encounter. And for example, this beast that you've got here, you don't run into any of these things until you get to Enid White, so you're facing all these monsters that you don't normally face at level 20 when you run this skirmish. Oh, come on. Alright, there you go. That's okay. As promised, I'm really annoyed with that thing. With that thing throwing rocks at me, but you really do need to get rid of these candle lights because they do cause you to miss, which is probably why I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn during that. Well, I was fighting that rock thrower. Alright, now. Alright, oh yeah. Okay, that takes care of that. Oh, lots of candles. Alright, let's see. Probably get... Oh, I thought I was going to be drawing half the forces in the area. But I guess not. Well, this time I'm definitely going to be getting a few things, but I'll just put up a trap there. I do have to put up with that troll healing the candle, but I'll just have to live with that. Now I can take care of the troll. So we have 3 major areas that you need to get through in this. We're in the second one now. The first one was the point between the opening gate and the first counterattack. So that's the second gate, right? So there's the next gate. So after we clear out the second area, we'll face another series of counterattacks like the first. 3 waves. No lieutenants except for those that you managed to pull in, and in the second series of counterattacks, well, you see we did pull in at least 1 spare enemy. Hard to tell with the regular mobs, but with the lieutenants it's obviously that they're a spare mob, since there aren't any lieutenants in the counterattacks themselves. So, but while it is possible to do it in this, going from the first to the second area in the first series of counterattacks, it's really easy to do that during the second series of counterattacks. So here we have a view into the southernmost peaks of the Misty Mountains, and of course into Orthanc here. So we give a little wave to Saruman there. And we'll come back up for a second series, and once again the Rangers will run up to help with the counterattack or draw the more enemies here to make things annoying, you know how NPCs usually are. And you see here I'm already all fouled up. Okay. Oh, good grief, we got a couple extras there because I see the counterattack started before. So obviously that means we gained a couple of extras, and especially that alright, there we go. I'm gonna use that since pop there. Let's trap him. Just because I couldn't think of something better to do at the time. I want to make sure I get him down before I get everybody else. That's a tough one when you got all those candles there, who are of course giving him that defense buff, or at least making him unhittable. So more like a offense debuff on us than really a defense buff. There you go. And fortunately you do have time, because while in the first counterattack the encounter often pops up right on top of you, in the second one they have a really long walk up, so while you are more likely to draw stuff early, they usually have time to get rid of everything before you worry about the encounter. And the thing about these encounter mobs is they do tend to have abilities that are associated with lieutenants. So while there aren't any lieutenants that you run into, you often run into these things, which, well, depending on the size of the skirmish, will have one or more of them. Usually they have at least one ability from a lieutenant, and as you go up into more and more challenging lives, so for example, duo, they'll gain a couple extra abilities that are associated with tougher lieutenants that you'll be facing. Then full fellowship, even more abilities are added on. So you have to be careful because then, you have one, for example, that has a pair of nameless who come in and release ancient evil. Actually, I think they're called Rothgar, not nameless, perhaps. And one of them has the Shepherd of Filth ability to, bring in those filth crawlers. Then there's one that, I don't know, it's possible that they might duplicate just about every single skirmish lieutenant that there is. I still don't have a complete record of every single one since I haven't done enough full fellowship ones, but they do run quite a number of abilities that you would see. So if you're wondering, alright, who called for those filth crawlers, no, it doesn't necessarily mean in this skirmish that you've got a Shepherd of Filth. It just might mean that you happen to have the encounter that has that ability. Alright, there we go. Now this is the third area, which of course now we're doing nice and neatly cleaning up. And yes, there is a flag at the end of here, but instead of another gate, we have the boss fight. So when we pull this flag, the Rangers will of course, again come up, but then they'll also come up with the Mystic from the Borg clan. Now I like to pan out for this one because we are going to be running into a Drake, similar to how things end in Gondaman. One difference is that in Full Fellowship you will run into 2 Drakes, raids, 4 Drakes, while in Gondaman you only get an extra Drake in a raid. Alright, let me get some focus here. And when I'm talking about extra Drakes, I'm talking about extra big Drakes. And now, put this up for the baby Drakes. Better use Cry. I need to get close enough to use Cry of the Hunter. Ooh, okay. Tripwire is nice. Alright, so we take care of the... Now, it's important to take care of the Drake. Now, so what happens... Okay, obviously, the Drake is your mandatory fight for the boss fight. If you defeat the Drake and keep the drummer alive, you get to face Gwillian. It is possible that she will escape. She will escape if the drummer dies, though the drummer runs off, usually, if he was hit and the Drake is... after the defeating of the Drake. But he stays around till the Drake does, but if he gets killed, especially most likely by the baby Drakes, then Gwillian gets away. Now, you get to complete the skirmish whether she gets away or not, but there's double loot in this skirmish. Gwillian can be looted. Decorated heritage rune of lore and fused early relics. Yeah, so I wouldn't have gotten those relics if Gwillian has escaped. And fused copper relics. Oh well. And that is Storm on Methedras. So next week we will run another skirmish with my hunter. And let's make an assault on the Ringwraith's lair and see how I handle double lieutenants in the next episode of Skirmisher of Middle-earth.